you wanted the best, you've got the best podcast, the hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. The CEOs, authors, thought leaders, visionaries, and motivators. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
Hi, folks. Chris Voss here from thechrisvossshow.com. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the big show with your brain, as they always say on this show. We certainly appreciate having you guys. As always, for 16 years and over 2,000 episodes, we've been bringing you the Chris Voss Show. We're going to announce that we're going to quit in another 16 years and probably, 4 or 5 more thousand episodes. So watch for that. No, we're not. We're not quitting. Stop it. Don't go anywhere. No flipping. Anyway, guys, refer the show to your family, friends, and relatives. Go to goodreads.com. All I have is lame jokes, people. It's a free show. What more do you want? It's not, I don't know. You didn't pay for it. Anyway, go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com/Chris Voss, YouTube.com/Chris Voss, Chris Voss on TikTok. We had an amazing young lady on the show. If I can figure out how to do this bloody show, that might be a nice thing to do so I can know what's going on. Julissa Germosén is on the show with us today. She's going to be talking to us about her latest, hottest book that's just off the presses, September 15th, 2024, called Latina Madrina, Stories, Lessons, and Hard Truths from a Brown Latina in Tech. We're going to be talking about her insights and her exciting book. She's got a wonderful cover, too. She looks really excited on the front. She's the CEO of Mariposa Blanca. She says it better than I do, though. She gives it that nice Latin accent. She is an award-winning technology leader, highly sought-after speaker, best-selling author, and career coach with over 2 decades of experience leading teams in global enterprise sales, consulting, strategic alliances, product development, go-to market strategy, and partner operations. Her newest book and TED Talk from TEDx reflects her journey from immigrant roots in the Dominican Republic to her rise in the technology industry. Welcome to the show, Julissa. How are you?
I am great, Chris. I'm having a blast already, and we haven't even gotten started.
Yeah, let's just wrap it up now, since we'll just stop at the top. Done? We'll just stop at the top. It might not get better than this. No, we'll get better than this.
I think it will.
We're going to hear more from you. Julissa, give us your .coms. Where can people find you on the interwebs?
Yeah, so LatinaMadrina.com. You can also find me on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn /Julissa S. Germosén. I'm also on Instagram at Latina_Madrina.
I love the way you say Latina. I like that accent. Yes. You do. Sometimes I'll sit and I watch Telemundo, and I have no idea what anyone's talking about. I just love the juiciness of the language.
Yeah. The language is so great. Yeah, it's so funny because we were like saying my company name, Mariposa Blanca, my name, Latina Madrina. I was like, Chris, this is a Spanish lesson for you. So,
I know. We're just going to turn this into a Spanish show.
Yeah.
We're just going to start. I told you I could count to 40 in Spanish. Should I just slowly do that and that'll be the show? No, I'm just kidding. We're not going to do that. All right. So give us a 30,000 overview of what's inside your new book.
Yeah. So I wrote a book. I've been in the tech industry for 25 years. I've had a longstanding career, and there's so few Latina leaders in tech and in corporate that I just wanted to write a book to help the next generation, give some insight into what's going on in corporate culture, how they can succeed, some of the things that I've learned. I feel like I've learned so much, and many times I've had to do it on my own. And so I wanted to write a book to just document some of the things that I've learned, what's worked for me, so that other Latinas, other leaders, other marginalized groups can have, a blueprint, and just let them know, they're not alone in their journey.
Yeah.
Give validation to what they're going through and what they're feeling, but to also to compete to win.
Compete to win, because competing to lose really sucks people. I tried it. It's really bad.
It didn't work out.
No, and the ribbons ceremonies and the medals they give you are awful. I got I think I got tin can is the medal I got.
Okay.
It wasn't the gold or silver, it was the tin can.
I've never heard of giving a tin can to anybody. I don't understand what that is.
It was a really low budget Olympics that year.
Got it.
I don't know.
That's hilarious.
So tell us a little bit about your upbringing as you do in the book, your journey coming from an immigrant family, et cetera, et cetera. How were you raised? Who hurt you?
Well, we're going to need more than an hour, Chris, for that question. For sure. But no, I was born in my country, in the Dominican Republic, and came to the U.S. with, my parents. We emigrated to the U.S., to New York. And, my family, honestly, like hardworking immigrants, and really lived the American dream. We lived in New York and then moved to the suburbs. They owned a home, 2 cars, and raised a family of 5. I'm really proud of my immigrant, hardworking parents and our roots. And, I really learned a lot about just working hard and, wanting to achieve things and wanting to make an impact. And I was always so self-motivated and driven. And so that led me to, college and university, and then to a career in tech. So I'm just really, really, really thankful for that. And like 25 years goes really quickly, which is crazy. I can't believe it.
I know, doesn't it? It was last week when I was 25 years younger. Yeah. Me
too, though. Me too, Chris. It feels like yesterday.
It does, doesn't it?
People like, I can't believe, it's been 25 years for me. I feel the same way.
Yeah, it's, and I'm only 25 now, so that's the problem. Anyway, I don't know what that means.
I don't think that's the problem. I don't think that's the problem at all. I think that's great.
I think time is the problem, damn it. We need to fix that.
Yeah,
we need to pass laws against time.
Can you work on that, though?
I will. I'm going to call my lobbyists and see what they can do right away.
Yeah.
You come from, what was it like coming here as an immigrant? And did you run into any sort of issues? Sometimes, on any given playground as a kid, the kids are mean to everybody, no matter who you are, it seems.
It's interesting because I grew up in Latin communities. So I felt very much at home, with family, with extended family. And, speaking Spanish was my first language. I know you can't tell, there's no accent, but Spanish was my first language. And I learned, English through, watching shows on television. So I didn't really experience anything like discrimination within my community, but it was always a little bit when you go outside, the community, and how we as a family were treated differently. I mean, I remember, when, our family home that we grew up in, my dad was cutting down an apple tree, like some of the branches. So because the wires were touching some of the phone wire, and he made a mistake. He, cut it down and cut down the wire, and our neighbor really just spoke to him really harshly. And I just remember the look on my dad's face. Gosh, I was trying to do something to help my family and kind of protect, the property, and really talk to in a disrespectful way. So things like, kind of like small things like that, going to the doctors and them not understanding our racial makeup and our culture and presuming that we're Puerto Rican versus Dominican, right? And so things like that make you feel like, oh, you don't really get me, you don't really see me. But yeah, those are just kinds of experiences that I just remember growing up. But I loved growing up in a Latin American, town and speaking Spanish and, kind of embracing our culture. That was really, really important to me. So I'm glad for that.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of an interesting journey. A lot of people immigrants get a really bad rap, and they bring some of the most hardest working people to our country.
Yes.
They really buy into the American dream more than most Americans. Most Americans like American dream, the American scream, whatever. We don't get it. Whatever. We don't care. We're born with a silver spoon in our mouth. But people come here putting their life on the line, expecting they want to take part of the American dream, and you got to respect that sort of work that someone puts in for that, because it can really, it's a hard life. They're usually moving from stuff that they have. One thing that's always been interesting to me is sometimes people who come here as immigrants will have what they call the closed door policy, slam the door behind them. And so they come here sometimes as immigrants, but then they're like, yeah, I don't want more immigrants to come here. You ever seen that?
Wow, I have seen that, not necessarily in my family or in my circle, which is kind of ridiculous, right?
Yeah,
because we're all, we all just want to make an impact in our lives and have, great lives and better lives. But I'm really, I love what you said, because I think we need to change the script, right? We've got to flip the script on immigrants and really see how immigrants have made such an impact in this country, right? All the things. And it's not always easy, right? It's not always easy when you are American and a native English speaker. It's not easy if you don't, right? So there's things that you must overcome. Are you hearing that?
Yeah, it sounds like a lawnmower or something.
Yeah, so give me 1 second. So sorry about that.
Just go. I was going to say go throw something at him, but that's probably not a good idea.
All right, so hopefully that will stop soon. This is what you call suburban life, Chris. So suburban life, some things we can't control.
It's true. It's true. So you were saying about your life and immigrants and stuff. It's funny, people complain about immigration, but actually immigration is one of the most important things that contributed to our economy doing really well the past year.
I agree. I agree.
I mean, that's what the Fed made that statement. They're like, they're a big part of the deal. And it's really important. I mean, the future of our country, a lot of people don't realize a lot of countries are on the cusp of disappearing. Greece, Germany, a lot of European countries are in decline. I was just looking about how, I think it was Italy, is in complete crash. Like, they can't keep enough people on board and all that good stuff.
It's the heartbeat of countries, right? I mean, look at Italy. They're giving tens of thousands of dollars to people to come and live in their beautiful small towns and villages because there are no young people, because there are no economic opportunities. So I agree. And then from a Latin, perspective, we are the largest, ethnic and minority group in the United States with almost 70 million Latinos. So we're a really important demographic to look at. Companies are creating products for Latinos. Organizations are marketing to Latinos. We've got an election, so the electoral vote is going to be, really dependent on the Latino vote, and it's not in the hands of, so politicians and policymakers need to really court this demographic. It's really important in many ways. John Leguizamo, and I'm learning myself. I think, we all need to learn about the contributions that Latinos have made in this country. I mean, Latinas are the demographic that are creating startups and small businesses at an incredible rate. I mean, outpacing Latino-owned businesses and all kinds of, owned businesses. So, we're contributing to the GDP. The Latino GDP is the 5th largest, compared to even higher than countries like France and, the UK. So it's some of these things we just don't know. And honestly, even the Latino community doesn't know. So we need to flip the script and really have a good pride in the achievements and, the accomplishments of Latinos in this country, and really flip that narrative. And so I'm learning too. I'm encouraged by the data and the stories. So, with this book, I want to share my successes, and some of my lessons. It's not always easy, right? And so I want to share that to encourage others, because sometimes when you are from an ethnic group that has not really been accepted wholeheartedly and fully, you sort of feel like, gosh, I don't belong. No, we do belong. We're Americans. We belong in this country. We're contributing to this nation. Yeah. That was a little bit of a diatribe, but I'm going to.
It's funny. Everyone's we're tired of the high prices, but we don't want immigrants. The immigrants are doing the work that you don't want to do as Americans, and they're doing the hard labor and work and working in the fields and making everything cheaper.
They're doing that, but also, Chris, they are also going to colleges. Yep. Latinos are going to colleges at the highest rate and getting undergraduate degrees and graduate degrees. We don't talk about that. We think about immigrants as just doing the jobs that nobody else will do, which I'll be honest, my parents did the jobs that nobody else would do. My mom was a seamstress. in New York City when she first came here. And then she worked in a warehouse, and my dad was, a what do you call those lift fork, those truck, the lift fork drivers, I can't remember it, in warehouses. So my parents did jobs that nobody else wanted, but in those days they paid so that you can, raise a family. So thank goodness for that. But we don't talk about, Latinos who are achieving educational levels. We don't talk about, Latinos creating businesses and jobs. We don't talk about like the consumer, how we're spending a lot of money. Latinas are CEOs of the household. So I think we've got to have a balanced view. It's not just the jobs that people don't want. It's all the other things that are it's across the board. Like we're not a monolith.
Yeah. And I like you to inspire this. What are some of the stories that you talk about in your book, maybe experiences working with Microsoft or other places where, maybe you overcome some adversity or some other different stories maybe you could tease out to us?
Yeah, I think, one of the things that I know, like what I've grown up with in my household, in a Latin American household, like I talk about some of the things that we've learned that don't necessarily serve us in our careers. So for example, like the mentality of, work hard, keep your head down and be humble, that in a corporate job and like business career doesn't really work. It doesn't really, like when you're working with others who are touting their achievements. So I had to learn, I just was that mentality, but I had to learn, no, I've got to advocate for myself. Yeah. I've got to speak up. When I'm doing a great job, I've got to share that broadly. And that doesn't mean that I'm not humble. It means that I'm advocating for myself. I'm proud of my achievements. And there's nothing wrong with, talking about that in a way that is sharing the impact, to the business. So that's one thing that I had to really overcome over time and be able to do that in a way that's that really serves not just me, but the organization. So things like that, there's so many. I think, that's something I definitely want to.
What do you hope people come away with as they read the book? You've said a little bit of that, but what do you hope people come away with as they put the book down and they reflect on it?
Yeah, I think for me, Chris, even though I had people in my life who cared about me as a human being and mentors and sponsors, I didn't really have a madrina, somebody that looked like me, someone that I respected in a leadership position, someone that understood my journey. And so I never had that. Mm-hmm. So I wrote this, and the feeling that I want people to leave with is that they're not alone in their journey, because I worked in a predominantly male white industry. And so I never really thought of myself as, I'm a woman doing this job. I'm a Latina. I'm the only in the room. I always felt like any space I entered, I belonged there. I just never felt like I did it until someone points it out, the difference, until someone kind of makes a comment like that I am different. And so I was like, gosh, I thought I belonged, you know what I mean? And so I want people to take away from this book that I understand their experiences. I've been through some hard things just like they may be experiencing too, but I want to give you what I've learned. So I want whoever's reading this book to feel less alone, marginalized groups, Latinas, people of color, people who have disabilities, right? People who are, marginalized. So I just want everyone to feel like they're seen and heard. Yeah.
That's the one element we talk about in the Chris Voss Show about stories of the owner's manual to life. We are the sum total of the stories that are our life, really. Yeah. I mean, if you took away all my stories, I don't know, I'd just be sitting around going, duh. But, knowing that we're not alone, knowing there's other people that have taken the journey and figured it out, and they've got a roadmap, that blueprint, maybe they can help the rest of us out, can make all the difference. Talk to us about some of the stuff services and products you provide on your website.
Yeah, happy to. My company, Mariposa Blanca, I do business strategy consulting. So I help organizations with their partner ecosystem strategy. Software companies think about, how do they go to market with their products with a partner ecosystem and build that out. So that's been super fun and super cool. And it's, something I did at Microsoft and Salesforce. So I bring that expertise to my consulting practice. I'm on a book tour now. That's why I'm on your show. So you're so much fun. And so I'm on this book tour. And so I've been doing speaking engagements, keynotes, author, fireside chats, and doing that. So I'm a speaker. And then I do career coaching. And so I'm looking into doing, courses, but I've been doing career coaching, essentially all of my career. So that's another element. And then we'll see where this journey takes us, right? So I'm open to all the possibilities that are presented, which has been really a lot of fun.
Where this journey takes us. So you offer keynote speaking, courses in coaching, business consulting. People can reach out to you, work with you, and find out how things work. And then they've got the book, so they've got that as well. What do you normally work with people?
On Amazon, the book.
On Amazon, or wherever fine books are sold, folks.
Yes. And please, if you buy it, please put a review. My goal is 100 reviews, Chris. 100 reviews in 100 days. So that's my goal.
Do it to it. Get those reviews out there. So that'll do it. Those are always good for moving a book. Who is your prospective client out there that might be listening? Are they people that are Latina, or is it anybody? Is there any sort of target market that you're after?
So this book really, like, the audience for this book in particular was written for Latina leaders in tech. And also I wanted to, so that's the audience, but the secondary audience is anyone in the C-suite in corporations that want to understand the experiences of Latinas. So those are the two people, like when I was writing to Latina leaders, but I broadly want them to be like, kind of, I don't want to say a fly on the wall, but a little bit like a fly on the wall, so that they can, kind of see the experiences, right? And because there's few Latinas in the C-suite, less than 1%. Oh, wow. So that's the audience. But what's been interesting is that this message in this book has resonated across all genders and all ethnicities, and so many allies, so many, white males, so many people that look like you, Chris, have reached out and has.
I'm a white male.
Yeah, you are. You are. Is
that legal to profile me like that? You don't even know my pronouns. I'm just teasing.
That's true. That's true. I guess I should have asked. I should have asked first.
No, you're fine. We're fine.
It's so true.
We live and let live around here.
Thank you. And it's resonated. Yeah. So yeah, it's resonated for sure.
There you go.
So all corporations. So
work is to inspire people, make the life a better place, all that sort of good stuff. And what do you see the future of what you're doing? Is there any other books maybe you're working on, or maybe some courses or something with your working? I mean, you're, like you said, you're focused right now on promoting the book, but anything else in the future coming up?
Yeah, I think, the book just came out. I spent a year writing it, and so just launched September 15th, the first day of Hispanic Heritage Month. So yeah, it's all in on the book tour and promoting. I've been doing speaking engagements at different companies, so that's been really great. I've got Other Dreams, my TEDx, I recorded it. That's going to drop this fall, so that'll launch. But I have other things that I want to do. I definitely, I've got a couple of books, I think, in me, maybe, but that won't probably be till, start writing for a while. I'm going to let this one breathe. And, but yeah, there's other things that I want to do, and grow my business, grow my consulting practice, grow my speaking, speaking engagements and keynote speaking. And then, we could look at courses. I really want to see what the demand looks like first, right? Yeah. I wrote this book because it was a demand. People were coming to me for input, advice, and, it's, you're the first Latina leader I've ever met. I want to talk to you. Wow. Gosh, there's so few. So I was like, let me document some of the things. But I think the future is bright, and I'm going. Let's see where the journey leads. I'm excited about it. It's been so much
exciting. People need to see leaders that people that they identify with, and hey, if they can make it, I can make it too. It's it's really important, and I think you're going to inspire a lot of people with it. As we go out, give people a final pitch to pick up your book and all that good stuff, and reach out to you, of course, on your website.
Pick up the book.
Pick up the book, or else
Buy the book on Amazon. You won't regret it. No, I'm kidding. No, but seriously, do buy the book.
If you don't, you will.
And if you do, thank you. I think we all can learn from each other. I'm learning from people who look like and are different from me every single day. I follow people on social that are neurodivergent. I want to learn from that community because I have, people that I care about that are neurodivergent, and I'm certainly not an expert. So we can all learn from each other, pick up the book, learn about the Latino community, Latina leaders, some of the things that we go through. And if you enjoy it, give a 5-star review on Amazon.
Yeah.
And if you have an organization where you want me to speak at, I'm happy to have conversations around that. We can do book signing and add you to the book tour, because I've got some openings in November, December, and in 2025. So that's my pitch. Sauce. How was that? How did I do, Chris?
I like that pitch.
I love it.
You're set up for 2025. Isn't it amazing?
Yes.
Did you know that next year on January 1st will be 25 years from Y2K 2020? Or 2000? I have COVID.
Yes. Gosh.
25 years from that Y2K thing.
I kind of want to cry a little bit. That's insane. You know what I mean? Like, my stomach just turned, Chris. Like, what
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to scar you. We try to do that on the show. Trying to scar a guest, but
that is so
we've triggered a guest. Call 911 or whatever number we're supposed to call.
That's so funny. Yeah.
Or read the book, folks. You'll feel better. So thank you very much for coming on the show. We really appreciate it. I love your first name, Julissa.
Thank you so
it's
much.
It's like a whole juicy mouthful of juicy fruit gum, sort of.
I always tell people it's Julie and Melissa. If they're not sure how to pronounce it, but yeah, I love my name too.
And coming in from LinkedIn, Mark Wendt. Thanks, Mark. Ultimately, we're all immigrants in North America. That's the ironic thing about the whole stupid thing about immigrants. Like, my great-grandfather came here from Germany. That was like 2 generations or something like that, 3 generations. I flunked second grade, so I can't count. But I can count second. That doesn't.
I'll be in Germany in a couple of weeks, by the way.
Okay. Yeah. Just stay away from swastikas and Hitlers and stuff like that. But we left before the 1800s. I should make that note so no one writes me. We left before all that war crap started. That's probably why it started or something. I don't know. But yes, thanks, Mark, for pointing that out. Ultimately, we're all immigrants, and they are what made this country great. I mean, it really did. There is no, and I've talked about this ad nauseum on the show. The audience he's gonna do it again. But there is no one person who has their thumb on all the good ideas, no matter how much Elon Musk likes to think he does. He does not, and no one does. Yes. And so being able to have a wide base of people that are bright, smart, can learn, love this country for the freedom that it gives and the power that it gives, and having people live their fullest. And they're not limited to like communism. It's like you get your paycheck whether you do the work or not. It's like you're paid usually in direct proportion to the contribution you give to other people and helping other people improve the quality of their lives. And you look at the iPhone. The iPhone. Steve Jobs' dad was an immigrant from Syria.
Yes.
I mean, you think, what if they never let him in the country?
Exactly.
We'd still be on BlackBerry. No.
Yeah. Oh gosh, that's
the war. We'd have Microsoft Windows phones. Sorry, I
had a Windows phone. I had several Windows phones, but yeah.
We reviewed Windows phones. I just like to pick on who was the CEO after Bill. Bomber, and these iPhones are never going anywhere. These are stupid.
Yeah,
I love that bit of him. We reviewed several Windows phones. We actually liked them. They were really good phones.
I love my phone when I had them years ago. Yeah.
I wish they hadn't given up on them. I thought they were pretty good phones. They had like Sony cameras and
all about the apps. So it was all about the App Store at the time. So
it was, and I mean, it was such a great thing. But Windows has got computers. They got that.
Yeah,
they're not hurting for money.
I think Microsoft is doing well. So
anyway, thanks for tuning in, everyone. We certainly appreciate it. Thanks for Julissa to come with us on the show. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com/Chris Voss. Chris Voss on the TikTokity and all this crazy place on the internet. Be good to each other, or else I'll come over there. Don't make me stop the car. Be good to each other. Stay safe. We'll see you next time.
Thank you, Chris.